Exclusive. Every AI data center is vulnerable to Chinese espionage, report says. Now, I need to be clear about something before we get into this one. The last few daily tech news streams have ultimately been centered around explicitly calling out actions by China against the West, so to speak. I'm kind of like reducing what we've read, but I want to be clear that this isn't strictly about China. And these are the articles I find, but the message that I'm trying to send out isn't strictly about China. You have to think about it a little bit. You have to kind of expand the view. If China can do X, then it is entirely possible that lots of other groups can also do X. You don't have to necessarily be state funded. You could just be a group of people who just, you don't care what nation you belong to. You just want to, cause damage and make money doing it, right? So I want to ensure that my viewers in particular don't look at it as strictly China is attacking and this is a China problem and whatnot. Obviously, China plays a role in this, but it's people in general. If one person has the ability, then it means many people have the ability. Okay. And what ability is it? And the issue here is the problems, the exposure we have, not who's using the exposure, right? So let's read. Tech companies are investing hundreds of billions of dollars to build new US data centers where, if all goes to plan, radically powerful new AI models will be brought into existence. But all of these data centers are vulnerable to Chinese espionage, according to a report published Tuesday. Now, you can go see the report. It's from Gladstone, and there's a PDF version of it here. And this one I might save for an enlightened programming stream because it's very heady. Like it's up in like the technical space, and it's not really for the daily tech news. So we'll just kind of go over this article because it's more of a news style thing that will take up the rest of the time here. At risk, the authors argue, is not just tech companies' money, but also U.S. national security amid the intensifying geopolitical race with China to develop advanced AI. The unredacted report was circulated inside the Trump White House in recent weeks, according to its authors. Time viewed a redacted version ahead of its public release. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Today's top AI data centers are vulnerable to both asymmetrical sabotage, where relatively cheap attacks could disable them for months, and exfiltration attacks, in which closely guarded AI models could be stolen or surveilled, the report's author warned. Okay, now, this is kind of like what this article is mostly concerned about. It's like, well, what if like China or a nation like China steals our AI advancements? But that's not what I'm worried about, because AI is a bunch of overhyped horse crap. What I'm worried about is if we have such a high value priority on AI, how well are we doing it? How well are we securing it? And that gives us a framing for how well we are securing other things. You get what I'm saying? If we can't keep something like this secure, then what else can we not keep secure? Even the most advanced data centers currently under construction, including OpenAI Stargate project, are likely vulnerable to the same attacks, the author tells Time. So then what exactly is going on here? So the people who did the study, authored by brothers Edward and Jeremy Harris of Gladstone AI, a firm that consults for the U.S. government on AI security implications. In their year-long research period, so they researched it for a year, so that's good. They visited a data center operated by a top U.S. technology company alongside a team of former U.S. Special Forces who specialize in cyber espionage. Pretty good. In speaking with national security officials and data center operators, the authors say they learned of one instance where a top US tech company's AI data center was attacked and intellectual property was stolen. They also learned of another instance where a similar data center was targeted in an attack against a specific unnamed component, which, if it had been successful, would have knocked the entire facility offline for months. The report addresses calls from some in Silicon Valley and Washington to begin a Manhattan project for AI aimed at what developing what insiders call superintelligence. So that's what I'm saying here, right? Is that there is a kind of like a golden pin on AI. How well are they securing it? So they talk about superintelligence. That will never happen. That's completely stupid, and no one's ever going to do that. Okay, many critical components for modern data centers are mostly or exclusively built in China, the report points out. And due to the booming data center industry, many of these parts are on multi-year back orders. What that means is that an attack on the right critical component can knock a data center offline for months or longer. Some of these attacks, the report claims, can be incredibly asymmetric. One such potential attack, the details of which are redacted in the report, could be carried out for as little as $20,000, and if successful, could knock a $2 billion data center offline from between 6 months to a year. How would we get our Studio Ghibli? This happened. Shambles. China, the report points out, is likely to delay shipment of components necessary to fix data centers brought offline by these attacks, especially if it considers the US to be on the brink of developing superintelligence. So not only can China attack the very things that it created in the first place, and do you really think that China doesn't know that it's sending these components to a competitor and doesn't have some back doors built in, whether it's hardware or software or both? And so then it just utilizes that, and it goes, well, let's just shut this down. And then when the US or when the West comes to ask us for more of these components, we go, sorry. We can't for a while. You guys are stuck, right? So then it continues. AI labs struggle with basic security, insiders warn. The report says that neither existing data centers nor AI labs themselves are secure enough to prevent AI model weights, essentially their underlying neural networks, from being stolen by nation-state level attackers. The author cited a conversation with a former OpenAI researcher who described two vulnerabilities that would allow attacks like that to happen, one of which had been reported on the company's internal Slack channels, but was left unaddressed for months. The specific details are not in the report. An OpenAI spokesperson said in a statement, "It's not entirely clear what these claims refer to, but they appear outdated and don't reflect the current state of our security practices. We have a rigorous security program overseen by our board safety and security committee." Do you? Do you really? I don't buy this for a minute. The report's authors acknowledge that things are slowly getting better. According to several researchers we spoke to, security at Frontier AI Labs has improved somewhat in the past year, but it remains completely inadequate to withstand nation-state attacks, the report says. According to former insiders, poor controls at many Frontier AI Labs originally stem from a cultural bias towards speed over security. And therein, right there, I just want to zoom in real tight on that. This is the ship it bro mentality. Ship it fast, break it fast, get that VC exit money, kick the can down the road. It doesn't matter if it's secure, it doesn't matter if it's performant, it doesn't matter if it's of quality. What matters is the financial gain. People think that I am yelling at clouds all the time and ranting about stuff that doesn't really matter. This is where this kind of culture leads to. We cater to the lowest common denominator of programmers. Meanwhile, we sit on a metaphorical goldmine of intelligent programmers who are never actually encouraged to utilize their brain to build anything of quality, and instead we push them towards speed because we think there's money in it. So not only are we leaving quality and security and stability on the table, we're also leaving money on the table, and we're telling everyone that they're stupid if they don't go along with it. It's actually completely backwards land. We're essentially an upside down world of Stranger Things, but tech version. Independent experts agree many problems remain. There have been publicly disclosed incidents of cyber gangs hacking their way to the intellectual property assets of NVIDIA not that long ago. Greg Allen, the director of the Wadani AI Center at the Washington think tank, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, tells Time in a message, the intelligence services of China are far more capable and sophisticated than those gangs. There's a bad offense-defense mismatch when it comes to Chinese attackers and US AI firm defenders. And then they're worried about superintelligence breaking free because of lack of security. That's never going to happen because you're never going to get superintelligence. That's ridiculously stupid. It's based on no actual evidence at all. You can't even define superintelligence. I'm not even worried about superintelligence, so it's fine. But this is a striking article because even if you can make what am I trying to say here? Well, it goes back to the point that I said at the outset of the article, which is if the US or just the West in general, like Western nations, agree that AI is of utmost importance and there's a race to AI, how are they protecting it? Right? How are these nations protecting their AI roads? And unfortunately, they're not. They're doing exactly what every other tech company right now is doing. They kick the can down the road. Problems go either unseen or unfixed for months, if not years. And we've been through study after study on my streams talking about how a lot of these security issues sometimes are not detected for several years. And then once they're detected, take several more years to get fixed. And we have this huge push for AI, and this is how we're protecting it. These are the mechanisms by which we protect this. It's absolutely insane. And it's ripe for disaster. And at this current path, that's exactly what's going to happen. You now have to think about what other things are we not able to defend that we value as Western nations. And then you can think of the microcosms, right? You can kind of collapse it down. You can reduce it down to, if AI is the big thing, kind of at the top of the food chain of tech right now, think about all the other things that we take for granted every single day and how much we're protecting it or not. Because we do not encourage this industry to up its game in terms of its practices, even though it is completely, fully capable of doing it. We have everything we need. We have the people, we have the smarts, we have the different languages and libraries and frameworks, abstractions, even though I hate most of them, but we have them. We have everything we need, but we don't use them. Or if we do, we use them in the stupidest ways possible. And then what really gets me, just as kind of a final nail in this coffin, the very thing that we're hoping gets us out of bad programming practices, AI, because so many people are hoping that AI will replace programmers because then you don't need programmers. That very thing is as protected as all of the previous daily tech news stream websites and S3 buckets and databases and leaks and stuff that we've gone over before. We're just dog fooding our own stupidity and hoping it'll get us out of the hole that we've created in the first place. This is a completely ridiculous state, and we don't have to be in it.